Hey there, friends. Welcome to the Having a Mom Moment podcast, where we dive deep into the world of motherhood and beyond. I'm your host, Shannon Warner, and I am excited to embark on this journey with all of you. Here's the deal. This podcast is your ultimate sanctuary, your sacred space to hit pause on the chaos of mom life and reconnect with the amazing woman behind the title of mom. Yep, it's all about those precious mom moments because, let's face it, we all need a little more time for ourselves. Am I right? So what can you expect from our time together? Well, picture this. We'll be soaking up wisdom from fellow moms, sharing their stories and triumphs and how they've tapped into alignment on their own motherhood journeys. It's like a mom-to-mom chat over coffee with a sprinkle of inspiration and a dash of humor thrown in for good measure. We're here to light up your soul, to remind you of your incredible power, and to celebrate the unique spark that makes you, you. Because when we take care of ourselves, we become unstoppable forces for good in the lives of those we love. So join me as we laugh, learn, and rediscover the magic of this crazy ride called motherhood together. Get ready for your weekly dose of connection and encouragement, because around here, we don't just mom. We mom with purpose and power in alignment with our true selves. Stay tuned, my friends. The adventure starts now. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited you're here. If you are listening on the day that this is being released, it is election day in the US, and I will spare you. I'm not going to get political because I think we're all exhausted. So can we pause for just a moment and take a collective deep breath? Okay, I'm going to give you another chance in case you didn't join us for that one. Let's take one more. There's no harm in breathing. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Let it all out. Okay, I just want to remind you that the most important thing you can do in all of this madness is to take care of you and to take care of what's going on inside your four walls. Make sure that you are resting, make sure you are hydrated, make sure you've got something carved out for you this week that feels really good, even if it's a short bath or a long shower or sitting outside for a few minutes with a good book. Take some time to disconnect and be with yourself for just a little bit. We're going to get through this. Either way, we're going to get through this. Before we jump into this week's episode, I have a small favor to ask of you, my faithful listeners. I have dropped a link in the show notes to a quick survey about the podcast. It should take you just a couple of minutes just to kind of get your feedback on your experience with the podcast, who you are, and make sure that I am choosing topics and guests in the future that are really aligned with the season of life that you're in. If you would be so kind as to fill that out for me, you will be entered into a drawing for a $20 Amazon gift card because the holidays are coming and I know we could all use a few extra bucks. Again, that link is in the show notes, and that survey will be up until mid-November. So as long as you submit your response by November 15th, you will be entered in the drawing for the $20 Amazon gift card. Thank you so much for your help with this. I'm so excited to learn more about you, my listeners. This week, my guest is Stephanie Patton Jones, and Stephanie and I have known each other for quite a while now. We actually used to work together for a few years, and she and I just hit it off. There was just something really special about her and our connection, and we've stayed in touch a little bit over the years, but as life does, we kind of drift on our own adventures and along our own paths. But I'm excited that we connected again recently, and in talking to her and watching her on Instagram, I was like, yes, you need to come on the podcast. Please come on the podcast. And it felt like an aligned yes for her. So she is here with us today. As a contemporary artist specializing in landscape paintings, Stephanie Patton Jones is passionate about capturing the beauty and essence of the natural world. Her artistic journey began with a deep appreciation for the outdoors and a desire to share its magnificence with others. She believes a painting should capture a moment in time of your favorite place with your favorite people. She has long been inspired by the beauty of the coastal South and Appalachian and Rocky Mountains. Through her work, she aims to transport the viewer to different places, evoking a sense of wonder and appreciation for our natural surroundings, allowing them to cherish the beauty of nature within their own homes. I recently got my hands on my first Stephanie Patton Jones piece, and I love it. It feels like such an exhale every time I look at it, and I'm so excited to share her with all of you. Here is my friend, Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. Thank you so much for being here. I am so excited to have you on the podcast.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Okay, friends, I say it all the time that, the guest and I have been chatting, but Stephanie and I have literally been talking for 57 minutes to this point. I will say Stephanie and I know each other from another lifetime where she and I worked at the same company together. And I know it was no mistake that we ended up crossing paths there and meeting and connecting. And I've not physically seen you. We were trying to do the math. It's been like 7, maybe 8 years since I've like physically seen you in person. And we've, chatted a little bit over the interwebs and social media over the last few years. But, the last 5 years for everyone have been pretty wild with the pandemic and all the things that have been going on in your life and my life and everything else. So
Yeah.
I'm so excited that we could carve this out. And I'm so excited for you to share your magic with everybody today. No pressure. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you. I can't wait.
So I'm going to set my listeners up here. Stephanie is an artist, which I knew this about her before. It was something that she was doing on the side because, we all have our quote big girl jobs and we always have our passions over on the side because it is not often that they align, right? You're like, I
Yeah,
got to do the things
it's
over
true.
here, check the boxes, get the paycheck. And then this fits in the hours after, which if you knew the place that we came from,
There were no after hours.
right?
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember coming to your apartment for the first time though and seeing your setup, and I was like, shit, this girl is serious. Like, this girl is serious with your easel. And is it an easel? Is that the proper name for it? I feel
yeah.
like an asshole.
My dad actually built the one that's behind me.
It's beautiful. Yeah. So
It was my
Stephanie,
birthday present.
it's so pretty. Stephanie has her easel set up behind her. I can see 3 pieces of art, and the one in particular looks like it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I have a piece from Stephanie coming. I think it's going to come today. I'm so excited. So, all right. Before I get ahead of myself, can you please just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what kind of magic you're putting out into the world?
Yeah. So, I'm a mom, first of all, and I think that's partly what led me to become pursue my art full time because once I became a mom, my priorities changed so much that I realized I was letting someone else raise my kid in daycare all day long. And sorry, my voice is quivering. I got kind of nervous.
No, you're
Um,
safe. It's a safe space, safe space.
I hate having to talk about myself,
Oh
you
my
know?
gosh.
So I've painted for probably upwards of 20 something years. And it's, I've sold a painting here and there, but it was never really something that I felt I could do full time. And when my husband was deployed, I started painting again after like a 4-year hiatus. My daughter just turned 4 years old. So you can kind of see the timeline of where I stopped. And yeah, I picked up a paintbrush again and I started my first painting that I painted was the ocean. I painted waves and it was just I paint in oil, so if anyone is familiar with oils, they take weeks and weeks to dry. You usually have like multiple sessions, and this particular painting I painted in a matter of 2 hours, and it just flowed out of me, and it was like it was just waiting to come out for years, and the spark hit me again, and I started painting every day, and I talked to my husband about it, and I said, look, this is something I need to pursue. Like, I don't want someone else to raise my kid. Like, we have maybe 1 or 2 hours a night together, and it's just not how I want her childhood to be. And so he was really supportive. I mean, we got off the phone and he sent me money to go buy an expensive printer so I could make art prints, and the rest is history. I mean, I started an Instagram in January and I had people messaging me. I didn't even have a website or an Etsy. I mean, it was literally like I just started posting because I was like, I just want to share it with the world. So I had people messaging me, like, where can I buy this? Like, how do I find your stuff? And then I was like, oh, I should probably like put it out
Yeah.
there. So I made myself a little Etsy, and it's just kind of like picked up the pace ever since, and now Savannah gets to be at home with me full time, and she comes up in the studio with me. Sorry, I get kind of like emotional about it because it's like one of those things like you never think it's going to actually be a reality.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, it's real and it's raw. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it because I see you as a fellow mom, right? These kids bring out something in us that's like, oh my,
You aren't
where did,
kidding, man.
right? Like, where did this come
It's like,
from? Who is this woman that is parenting this child, And like, I know you're a tough girl. Like, I'm a tough girl too. We had to be to survive where we,
yeah,
like get shit done kind of women. And then it's like having these children like just brings out a
it
totally
changed
different
me
side.
in ways I never would have expected.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always like, this is my career path. I'm going to work in a high rise in the city. Like, this is who I am. And then I got there, and I remember, so we lived in Colorado for a while, and I drove to Denver every day for work because I was like downtown. And I remember like looking out at the mountains, and I think my office was on like the 17th floor or something. Like we were up pretty high, like we were one of the tallest buildings. And I just remember like looking out onto these snowy mountains, and they were so beautiful. And I was like, this isn't it. This is not it. And I can confidently say I have finally found the it. But my kid, I mean, once I had her, it just made me realize what life is truly about. And you never, when you're in your 20s, your early 30s, like you're just on that career path. Like I was raised by a really, really strong woman, and she works so damn hard, and so I always was like, I'm going to be just like her. I'm going to, go the corporate route. I'm going to climb the ladder, this and that. And I've just realized that like once I had Savannah, none of that mattered anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
been a very nice change of pace. I'm
Mm,
sorry I'm getting so emotional. I did not think I would
no,
get so emotional about
no,
this.
no,
Having
no,
you tell someone your story gets like it gets you in your feels.
no. We cry a lot on the podcast. It's all good. It's all good. And I'm sure it resonates. I totally see you. Like also very career oriented myself, although my career has definitely changed in appearance over the years. But once I had Emerson, my oldest, it was like, if I'm going to be away from her, because personally, I don't have an issue with daycare at all. I love the benefits of daycare for my daughter, but both of my daughters. But it's like, if I'm going to be away from her and have her in someone else's care, what I'm doing needs to feel worthwhile. And it
Yes.
did not feel that way for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was in the wrong role. I don't know if I was in the wrong company. I don't know if I was under the wrong leadership or if it was just all off, but it was not the right fit. And it made me incredibly resentful because I always knew I was like, I'm cool with daycare. I was a daycare kid. I have such fond memories of daycare. For me, daycare is part of my village. Those people are part of
Yeah.
our village, and I have such respect for daycare workers who are not paid enough, as we all know. They're doing the work. But it's like if I'm going to be away from them, it has to be worthwhile. It absolutely has
Yeah.
to be worthwhile. And there's such a small window because if you decide to go the traditional school route, once they're in kindergarten, they're away from you, those
Yeah.
8 hours or however long the school day is. So, yeah, I see you. I see you on that. I think it's so interesting, though, that you had the moment where you actually were standing in the vision of what you thought you
Yeah.
wanted. And you were like, this is not
Yeah.
what I
I'm
thought.
glad that I was able to be conscious of that though, to
Yeah.
like, because a lot of us, I mean, once you get in that rhythm, you just keep going. But I'm glad that I was able to like consciously stand there and think like, this isn't it. You got to keep trying to find it.
Yeah.
And and also I have zero issue with daycare. It was more that I've always had my little side hustles. So then on the weekends, that's my only time to do it. And you feel pulled in trying to balance all the things. And I think you had another podcast that kind of talked about this. Everyone keeps like pushing this, like find the balance.
Yeah.
I don't think there is one.
Yeah.
When you're a mom, you're juggling. I mean, you literally pick one ball up to drop another. Like there is no sense of balance. You just have to find your own rhythm. And I think that's part of why I just didn't care for daycare that much because Savannah really had a good time. She loved it. And it just, her daddy was deployed. So I was having to be even more of an emotional support than normal, because she didn't see me all day long. She hadn't seen her daddy in,
Right.
9 months.
Right.
So literally, my corporate job ended. She got pulled out of daycare the following month. She is in a school part time. She goes to a church school like 3 days a week, half a day, and she is learning like a ton. So she still has that interaction with other kids, which I think is amazing.
So
But it
important.
also gives me the time, to work in the studio and get things done on a part time basis, and then we have the rest of the week to spend together. And for me, that's just, I'm so grateful for it because you just don't get that time back.
Right. Yeah. No, you're so right. And it feels differently for everyone. So I know there
Yeah.
are people who are like, I could not have my kids home part-time. I am a corporate mama. That is my thing. We love that for
Yeah.
you. But if you're, or if you're a stay-at-home mom, love that for you. The beautiful thing is when we get the opportunity to choose and we get to make decisions out of choice and not like
Yes.
obligation.
Yes, absolutely. I definitely feel very blessed. I have to acknowledge that because it's not everyone's reality, I'm grateful, like, I'm an Army wife, and as much as, everyone thinks, like, the Army takes care of the spouses, like, that's, a bag in itself, but I am very grateful for what the Army does do for us. Like, yes, we have to pick up and move all the time, but, I wouldn't be able to do this if we didn't have that security. So,
Yeah. Well, it's not without sacrifice on your part. Like you said,
yeah.
picking up and moving. I know you're looking at another move here soon. You said Savannah's lived in 3 states in her 4 years, right? Those are all
Yeah.
things. Your husband is gone for large extended periods of time. So you definitely are sacrificing for this trade-off. It's not, I mean, that's not to be taken lightly at all. So, and of course we appreciate your husband and his service and, you know, and what you have to do so that he can go do the things. And
Yeah.
yeah, I have no insight whatsoever into that military lifestyle. So, and I think you're the first military wife on the podcast. So, your perspective is appreciated because I want to talk to everybody. I want everyone to feel seen and heard here in this space. So, do you have any like advice or maybe any like life hacks that you've learned, a fellow military wife or any mom, what you've learned from your experience with just having to navigate this landscape of your partner not being around 24/7.
Yeah. It is difficult. There have been moments where I just absolutely did not know what to do because he got deployed a week after her third birthday. So we went through potty training the entire three-nager phase alone. And honestly, if I did not have the village of women in my neighborhood, like at close proximity, I do not think I would have survived that deployment.
Mm,
I think it's really important for the kids to be around other kids who are going through something similar where like either their mom or dad is deployed and they can sort of connect on that level because it's very hard, especially for kids, to understand those emotions. They don't really know like why is their parent gone, and this is only speaking from a deployment perspective. It's there's so many kids that are in that situation for other reasons. But I read Savannah a lot of books where she could connect to the characters that their mom or dad was deployed. And I think that helped her understand a lot where that she, her dad was going to come home. And it was, he was just on the other side of the world. There was one book in particular that we read it pretty much every night. It's called Night Catch. It's about this little boy and his daddy is deployed. They send the star back and forth to each other. We would read this story and then we would blow a star to dad. I think that helped her a lot, like to understand on her level. I mean, I searched and searched and searched to try and find ways to like bring that down to her level because obviously as an adult, you understand what's going on. But
Right.
from a 3-year-old's perspective, they need like tangible things that they can understand what they're going through. And something that I wish that I had done that I've seen other people do, and like retrospectively, I'm like, that would have really helped. I've seen people make paper chains for like each day or each week that their mom or dad is deployed. And, each week the kid gets to rip off one of the rings.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I think it's like a very tangible, like, they see the chain getting shorter and they realize that daddy's coming home soon. And I really wish I had done something like that with her where she really could understand
Yeah.
a little bit better. But I mean, yeah, I will say the last year of my life has been probably the hardest. And I've been through some really traumatic experiences, but raising a 3-year-old that's extremely sassy by yourself is not for the faint of heart.
Oh my gosh. I know some of your story. You've shared with me in the past
Yeah.
some of the things that you've been through, and you're not lying when you say you've been through some shit. Like you have been through some traumatic stuff.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine the weight of that. And it's different. I think I'm projecting here. So listeners, feel free to correct me. But as a single parent, like if the other person is not in the picture at all, you're like, okay, I just got to do it. This is what it is. This is how life is going to be. And that's how we're going to move.
Yeah.
But this is kind of that, like, this is how it is for now. This is how we need to get through the next
Mhm.
9 months. But then he's going to come back and we're going to have to shift things a little bit. I can't imagine like how challenging that is for all of you to move
Yeah.
through that.
I mean, it's like, a huge pendulum swing.
Yeah.
You like can't ever really find like the center because you swing from one extreme to the other. Like dad's gone and then all of a sudden he's home. I mean, we struggled when he first came home too. I mean, I was kind of telling you earlier when we were just chatting, like when he first came back, she used us against each other. Like she was kind of like testing the waters, like, oh, are you gonna back mom up? Or like, she would ask me for a cookie and I would tell her no, and she would go to her dad, and her dad, he
Yeah.
doesn't want to be mean. So he'd
Right.
be like, oh yeah, you can have the cookie. And I'm like, no, dude, we gotta get on the same page here. Like,
Yeah.
this is not okay.
Yeah.
And thankfully we are like he's been home for a couple months now and we are definitely back on the same page and but it's just funny to like see their little minds like, oh, I don't know if you're not the same person that I knew. Like I'm a different person too, speaking from their perspective. I mean, from the age of 3 to 4, like he came home basically like 2 months before her fourth birthday. So I mean, that leap,
Oh, yeah.
in between 3 and 4 is huge, and it's like it hurts my heart to know, like, how much he missed because he is really sad he missed out on it, but it's also for her, I mean, she I think I'm speaking for her, but in her little mind, she's like, "I'm a big girl now, and, like,
Yeah.
you haven't been here." And
Yeah.
so I think he also had a little bit of time with her because 'cause I'm telling you, she's this girl. She's either gonna be a CEO one day or she's gonna be president. Because 'cause I'm telling you, she is a Sasquatch. She's a Sa She'll
Oh
be the
my
kid
gosh.
dressed up in the princess dress, but she's I
Yeah.
mean, she knows what she wants.
Oh my gosh. Emerson has been telling me for at least 2 years that she wants to be president one day. She doesn't have the fire. Like I see the contrast between my two. Like she doesn't have the fire. She's more of the kumbaya energy. Like I just want, let's love everybody, which I think we could totally use in this country, a little kumbaya energy, but
My kid is a debater.
maybe they make a good team, maybe they would,
Man.
yeah, the two of them.
President
Oh
and
my.
vice president.
Yeah, right. I know. Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, this kid, if I tell her that the sky is blue, she's gonna tell me, "No, it's pink and purple."
Which, sometimes it is pink and purple, mom. So
Yeah, but I
yeah.
mean, it's
Yeah.
literally an argument about everything. Like,
Doesn't it
why
make you
why do
wonder?
I need to wear underwear? I don't need to wear underwear because. And she'll go down this whole list, and I'm like, "Where do you get this from?" Because I am not that argumentative. It's definitely her dad. He really would be an incredible lawyer if he ever decided to go down that path. That's definitely not from me. I'm like a very easygoing, "Okay, if
Okay.
that's what you say." So, our personalities being so different has also been hard to navigate alone because I don't have that buffer of, like, "Go talk to your dad because 'cause he'll argue with you," you know? I'm like,
Yeah.
I have to just sit there and be like, "Okay." all
Right.
right, and why do you feel that way? And like I have to remind myself, like, take a deep breath. For any other mom that has like issues with like sensory overload, like I do, like I get very like testy when I am at my limit. I get
Yes.
kind of bitchy,
I see
and I
you.
feel terrible about that. But I've been trying to like journal and like get it out, and I have to take a deep breath a lot with her. I'm sure all kids are challenging, but I have had people tell me that she takes the cake.
Oh, at
Which
least you're
honestly, like,
validated.
yes, as much as like it kind of hurts to hear that as a parent, like at least you're validated in knowing that like your kid is a little bit extra.
Right,
But
right.
I
You're
will say, like, she comes up in the studio with me and she will help me paint. And she paints a lot of the paintings that like you see on my website and stuff, she has helped me with.
I love
Um,
that.
and when she gets in her flow, she is like the most zen little kid. Like I think, that deployment brought both of us something that we could like connect on. And so we started painting together while he was gone. I can't look at you because I'm gonna cry.
I was like, I'm
Um,
already tearing up.
so when he was gone, I mean, that was like my outlet. And I think it kind of became hers too. And now it's like something that we do together. And it's it's so beautiful. Like she's like my little critic. She comes up when I like finish a painting or like I'm in the middle of it. Like there's no one that's gonna tell you like it is like a toddler
I
will. And
know.
she comes up and she's like, I think it needs a little bit of purple. I think it needs a little bit of pink. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Like she's a tough critic. And the painting that actually, I think I was telling you this story earlier, so I'll kind of backtrack and like go back through it. You kind of get to that point where you're starting a business, especially like in motherhood, like you get so self-critical. And I kind of started to question, like, is this the right path? Am I doing the right thing? And a friend of mine said, like, I'm, not the most religious person, but she said, ask God. And like I've always had, a relationship with God, whether you know take it as God or the universe or whatnot. She was like, just tell him, if this is what I'm meant to do, then let me know. And like the next day we were leaving for a trip to Chicago, and we're, in the car, my phone is on loud, and all of a sudden you hear my phone go off, and it's like the cha-ching from my website. And my husband and I look at each other and I'm like, oh my god, who bought something? What was it? And I'm like frantically pulling up my phone, like waiting for it to load because we're driving. Like we're in like a dead zone. And I realized that like one of the most expensive paintings on my website sold. And he and I just like looked at each other and just kind of got like teary-eyed, because it was that moment that like I proved to myself and to him that like we're doing the right thing by, him encouraging me. He's always encouraged me to paint. He's always been like, why did you stop painting? Like, so I think that was kind of our moment together of like, hey, we can do this. And, and Savannah gets to be a huge part of it. And like, I've been thinking lately, like, my mom always told me I could do whatever I wanted to do, but I hope she doesn't get offended by this. There was a lot of dreams that she left on the table to raise me. And I feel like I'm taking it one step further in that generational, like, trauma or whatever you want to call it, of like survival, where now I get to teach my daughter, like, you really can do whatever you want to do.
Now we're both crying. Yeah.
Because she's seeing it happen.
Yeah. 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 I have so much I want to say. I think being a mother of girls, especially, like just it's different. It's different because we can tell girls that they can do whatever they want, right? And my mom did the same thing. My mom owned her own business for a long time and, had a dream and went after the dream and whatever. But it's like somewhere along the way, we stopped believing in ourselves. Even if we
Yes,
have our mothers like
absolutely.
propping us up, because I know for my example, I feel like my mom would have supported anything that I felt confident or passionate in. And my dad, I've talked about my dad a million times here, who I love very, very much still, and I miss him so dearly. But he was like the voice of reason because he was trying to keep
Yeah.
me safe, and I will never forget. I was like 16 or 17 years old, we used to have to take these, I don't know if you did it in high school, the career assessments where you would like
Yeah,
go through
we
these
had to do that
little,
too.
yeah, the practical tests. And it was like, I'm like, I know I'm in the engineering section. Like, let me just click out because I can't, like the folded bot. Like, if you fold this figure along the perforated lines, what will it look like? I'm like, I don't know. Just leave me alone. I don't leave me out of this section. But I was a dancer. I was not the best dancer, but I had such a passion for the art. I mean, I go to my daughter's recitals and I cry. I mean, anyone's kid, I'm crying over them dancing because it still just moves me. Um, all this to say, my dad was like, "What do you want to do? What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I think I want to be a choreographer." And he told me, we were standing in the kitchen of his condo and he said, "Let's not get hobbies confused with career choices." And it crushed me. Like it broke
Oh,
me. Whew. But I know he was just trying to keep me safe, right? He didn't want me
yeah.
to end up living on the street because he did not see the arts
Most people
equating,
don't. I
yeah,
mean,
equating to any
you
kind
have
of,
to break not
yeah,
only your own fears, but societal
yeah,
norms,
yeah,
because if you're, I mean, I think you're a 90s or 80s kid too. Like,
yeah,
if you grew up in that era, you were told, do not do anything in the arts because you will never survive. You will be a starving artist.
yep, yeah,
And, so you're told that. You hear that not just from your parents, from society. And it's like
100%.
you have to not only break through that barrier, but it's like multiple other barriers to really bring your passions to light.
Yeah. Yeah, you're so right. So it's just, yeah, what happens? What happens along the way? And my friend Wendy Harrop, who has the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, I was just listening to one of her episodes, and she is in her 50s and had tried for a long time to have a daughter and adopted a little girl from China who is 10, which I think is interesting because you consider what life this child may have had they never left China.
Right.
And she always brags about what a unicorn this child is and how magical she is. And she said it's interesting the contrast because I have women in their 50s who are at some transitional life point. Maybe their children have left the nest, or they're like, I don't really want to work in corporate anymore. I've had this job for 30 years. What do I do? And they feel lost. And I have to encourage, this is Wendy speaking, I have to encourage them to go, okay, what did you love as a child, right? Like, let's go back. What really lights you up? What do you remember loving and feeling so alive doing when you were younger? And she's like, but on the other side, I have my 10-year-old who is just so gifted as like a dressmaking and I don't know the terms, draping garments and everything else. She's just, I've seen photos, like insane, the things that her daughter has created.
That's cool.
She said, but at the same time, I'm watching her in school beginning to lose that spark because she's already receiving the message that like that's a weekend thing, that's a hobby thing, like that we need to pay attention to our subject. I'm not dogging teachers. This is the system. I love teachers, former teacher here. Like I'm just gonna say that. They are up against a structure that
Oh,
is,
well, yeah.
that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing. But she's like, so I'm watching her lose this spark and be told that is for nights and weekends free time. She's like, so I'm watching this. Meanwhile, I've got 50-year-old women on the other side who are going, I don't even know what I like anymore. And telling them to go back to when they were
Yes.
kids. She's like, I'm sorry. Why don't we just, close the gap here and not stop doing what we love and what we're just like gifted
Yes.
with? She's like, she learned all this on her own. She was just born with this knowing of how to do these things. You were just born with this knowing of how to create beautiful pieces of art. And it's like, why do we just stop? I mean, I know why we
Yeah.
stop, but it's like, it makes no sense when you really think about it. Like, okay, let me set it down. Let me go work a job I am okay, but am not lit up by for 30 years. And then maybe later down the road, when I've got a little more financial means, I'll be lost and have to find myself again and go back to this thing that I loved
Yeah.
all along. It's like, make it make sense.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to navigate because, you've got to be able to put food on the table, but at the same time you also want to teach your kids how to overcome, those difficulties. But I think the key there is to like encourage their spark
Yeah.
and to encourage them to keep doing it even, with limited time, because eventually it might become something instead of, you know, hey, quit investing in that because it's never going to become, what you think it is. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, the end goal doesn't matter. If it makes you happy, you should just do it. That's to me, that's the takeaway on that one.
That is so important what you just said
because we are geared in Western culture to be like
Yes.
output driven, right? Like, why would I
Yes.
do something just for the sake of doing it? Like, because you want to?
My husband and I, it's funny that you say that because my husband and I always feel like we should live in Europe. Like maybe we lived in Europe in another life because we eat dinner late. We have espresso after we eat dinner. Like we just do things differently. And a lot of people, they tend to like go on date nights and leave their kids at home. We don't really subscribe to the mentality of like kids can't go to a restaurant. I know that irritates people, so I'm sorry if you're triggered by that.
They have to learn how to human somewhere. That makes me crazy when people
Right?
get pissed about. I'm like, how are they going to learn how to behave in a restaurant?
I
Don't
know.
go to a
And it's
restaurant.
like, whatever, that's a
Yeah.
conversation for another day.
Yeah.
But we are like the type of people that like if we want to do something, if we want to go on a trip, if we want to go somewhere, our kid just goes with us.
Yeah.
And like she gets to have those experiences. Like we've taken her to art museums. That's like a thing that my husband and I have always done together. We take her to just everywhere. But it's like finding something that can be just for her also when we get to do the things for us is kind of like how we navigate that, I guess.
Yeah.
She has to have something that she gets to look forward to. If we get to go to the nice restaurant, then she gets to go to the park afterwards. So we
Okay.
live like right outside of Savannah, for anyone who doesn't know me. And a lot of times we'll go to dinner downtown and then, she gets to go to the big park with the fountain and she gets to run around. And that's like her reward for being able to like, do the adult things with us, like if
I
she's
love that.
good during that.
Thank you for saying that. I've never thought, I've never thought of that as like a trade off. When they're like little, I know that doesn't work, but when they're older, that, 3, 4
Yeah.
years old. Thank you for saying that. See, this is why it's so important for women to share their stories and share their experiences and share their knowledge because it's so simple what you just said. But have I ever tried that? No, not once.
But we're not taught that in Western culture. In
No.
Western culture, we're taught the mom needs to do everything. The mom needs to do the dishes. The kids can't help cook. They can't do the laundry. Like they're not going to do it right. And I mean, something for me, and I think it kind of Justin's deployment kind of propelled it was I can't do it all by myself. Like she has to help me. So she started helping me do the dishes and now she's always helped me cook. I mean, I've had her at the stove with me. People might like get upset with me for this, but she's helped me cook dinner since she was able to walk. I mean, she's always been at the stove with me learning how to do stuff like that and she loves it. She loves to be involved. And I think that's like a human thing. I don't think that is anything special between me and her. I think that's like an innate human experience. You want to be included in what the person that means the most to you is doing. And our moms, I mean, no offense to dads, like they obviously have a huge role in our kids' lives, but your kid is always connected to you at the cellular level. So of course they're gonna want to do everything that mom wants to do. So when he was gone, I just started letting her, like she wanted to clean the floor. I gave her a rag and some spray and showed her how to do it. Obviously it's going to be at a toddler level.
Yeah.
And you might have to go back and redo it,
Yeah.
but she thinks that she's helping. And I feel like that's kind of like an Eastern culture thing. Like I'm very like clearly not subscribed to like
Yeah.
what we do in our world.
And the way we live. Yeah. The way we do world over here.
She just, she gets to do everything that I do. I mean, yes, I get aggravated with her and I have to remind myself like she's only 3 years old or she's only 4 years old and, she can't do everything the way that I would want her to do it and she might break a dish every now and again trying to help me put it in the dishwasher, but it gives her such a sense of pride to be able to help. I think just in general, moms take it upon themselves to do everything for everyone. And I think we should all just take a step back and like think like, how can we ask our kids to help? Because I guarantee you they actually want to help. They want to feel good. They want to feel like they're contributing to just like you are because they see you going to work every day. They see you being able to buy them things. Like to me, that's how you teach them the value of what you're working for, what we're all like collectively working for.
Mm. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Just let them try, with my little one who's 2.5, she loves to help me like start the laundry, like turn on,
Yeah.
hit the buttons, I gotta tell her which ones to
Yep.
press or whatever, and then pull the things out from the washer into the dryer. But she loves it, and it's like, okay, sure, it takes me like a couple minutes
It
longer to do
takes
the
3 times
laundry.
as long. I mean, 3 times as
Yeah.
long, but,
Yeah, it
it's
does.
like, they have to learn at some point. Because if we
Hmm.
don't start now when they're teenagers and we want them to put their laundry away, are they gonna do it? No, they're gonna throw it on the floor just like we did.
Yeah. I think I want to go back to her painting with you too. I think that is such a
Yeah.
gift that you've given her, because I know that you are feeling a sense of calm and like zen when you're doing it. And to bring her into that, her body and her nervous system are going to remember that.
Yes.
So she can hopefully carry that as a tool as she goes forward. Even if it doesn't continue to be painting, maybe it's something else like, ooh, movement makes me feel this way that I felt with my mom. It is so weird, the shit that your body remembers. This is my favorite example.
Yeah.
So my mom did nails forever. She's a corporate girly now and she does a great job at that, but she did nails forever. So I spent a lot of time in a salon growing up. And then she used to do nails in her home for some of her closer friends. I got to college. I'd been there like a day and had a roommate that I knew from high school. So it wasn't like a complete stranger situation. And I was like, why do I smell home all of a sudden? What is this? Because I was immediately like calm. I was like, what is it?
Yeah.
My roommate was painting her nails, and I was like, oh my God, nail polish smells like home to me. So like every time, like it's something. I mean, it's not a physical act, but like that sense, that
Yeah.
smell of nail polish like brings me right back to like, oh, my mom, home. It's so funny the things that your body remembers that you're not
Yes.
cognizant of. So
I
I think
never
that's
even I
cool.
didn't think about that. I'm like your nervous system remembers that, but my mom actually used to do crafts with me a lot when I was a kid, and she always encouraged me to paint. I mean, I remember like wanting to paint every single day, and like she would just be like, "Okay, here's your stuff, go do it." Like I was
Yeah.
always up her butt about wanting to do a craft, and so that makes sense. Like it's kind of funny because that clearly went into something as an adult, like that creativity definitely stuck.
Yeah.
Not even just the creativity, but it's true. Like when I paint, I'm really like truly mindless. And I've noticed like I've kind of finally found like my thing that I love to paint, and it's stuff on the coast and like the coast, the water. Like I used to walk the beach on Lake Michigan all the time when I was a kid, and then I just always have been drawn to water. And now living like in such a beautiful place like by the marshes, like I've noticed I've started really loving painting coastal things, and that's just like what I've been painting, for the last 6 months or so, and it just as like that just keeps pouring out of me.
Hmm.
That's
It's
that's kind of off
beautiful.
subject.
No, it's not. It's not off subject at all.
It,
No.
it's very zen. So I'm glad you said that because I never even thought about it that way with Savannah.
Right? But that's such a gift that she's gonna look at. Your
Yeah.
mom gave it to you. You're giving it to her. Who knows how it'll continue to
Even her teachers
perpetuate?
at school have said like when she gets to do something with her hands and she gets to do like any kind of craft or creative thing, like she will sit and do it for like an hour.
Yeah.
But anything else, she's like a wild woman.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
she ever listens to this one day, I hope she's not offended by
Oh
the
no.
things that I've said about her. She's a
No.
wonderful little kid, but she's definitely a very creative soul. And as
Yeah.
a mom who's also a creative, I've tried to like, and she's very emotional too. So, she's so much like me in that way that I've tried to like think about how I was as a child when I felt so emotional. And I think that's kind of like why I let her do everything with me because you just want to be with your mom. It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So I just try to include her in everything, and I think it has it's helped us navigate a lot of the the crazy things we've gone through in the last year.
Yeah. It's such good advice. And I'm so glad that in practice it has actually worked for you. I think I've said this a million times. I don't think our kids are a mistake. I think they were absolutely destined for us and
Yeah,
chosen for us. And I think, too, this generation that we're raising, I think us as mothers millennial mothers specifically, like a lot of us are like going through things like this where we're like, what the hell? I thought I wanted this. It's not what I wanted. What does it look like? Holding space for yourself while holding space for
Yeah.
your child. I don't know that our parent, and this is no dig at our parents at all. I just don't think the awareness was there for them to hold
Yeah.
space for themselves or for us in the same way. So I think this is all like a universal culminating effect of like, we are standing on the shoulders of our mothers and our grandmothers,
Yeah.
and they've provided a foundation for us to do this self-discovery and exploration, and holding the space for our kids to do the same thing. I think it's very intentional from a universe perspective. I don't think any of it's a
Yeah.
mistake.
I would definitely agree. I think both of my parents are creatives, and they always did things like that, on the weekends, but they never still they should both of them would be incredible craftsmen if they would just do it as a business, but they don't have that mentality, whereas I'm like, I want to do the thing that lights me up the most all day long, and I don't
And
really
get
want to
paid
do
for it.
anything else, and like I'm very stubborn about it. I'm like, I thought I was a corporate girly. I am not a corporate girly. I am defiant. You tell me that you want it done one way, I'm going to be like, well, that's not how I would do it if it was my business, so I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, and it gets me in trouble. Some people really appreciate it, and other businesses are like, get the fuck out.
Well,
Please edit that out if you need to.
no. I think a lot of us have experienced similar things where it's like, if you go in and just keep your head down and just like, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, whatever, you're fine. But like, then you also die a little bit inside. Not everybody. Some people are fine doing that. I know people who thrive in those environments and they're cool. Other people die a little bit inside every day in that
Not me.
environment. So I
That's
think it's
definitely
just the
me.
reality. And so many jobs are corporate now. Like,
Yeah.
remember when trades were a thing? I know they're still a thing, but like my dad was a
Yes.
tradesman.
Yeah.
His dad worked in the freaking
Same.
steel mill. And then my dad did for a while. And then he worked in the trades, and he did HVAC forever for the power company. And that was a good job, but it was a trade. And then like this corporate life was its own thing. Now everything feels like it's corporate. Everything feels like
Yes.
it's corporate. And it's a different animal. And I like to be able to look at it from the outside and be like, why is everything this
Yeah.
way?
It's so sad that our society like doesn't encourage that in young people anymore, because not all of us are set up to like sit at a desk all day. So,
Right.
like,
I'd argue that most of us are not actually.
yeah, we're probably, with like our generation of kids, we'll probably see like a resurgence of that. Honestly, I think we will, because for one, it's in high demand now. And I think people are realizing like, oh, I went the corporate route and now I don't know how to do jack shit around my house when something breaks.
Yeah, yeah,
And, who you going to call?
yeah.
The person, the handyman,
I know.
that knows how to do everything.
I know.
And there's only one in the entire town.
Right. I know. I know. It's hard. My husband is amazing at a lot of the things. He's handy enough. I mean, like he'll figure it out if he can YouTube it, he'll figure it out. But like he's not going to fix our furnace if it breaks, right? Like he's not, like my dad was just to fix it. Like he was like, I got
Same,
it.
mine
I'm
is
done.
too.
Yeah, I'll bring my big tool bag over and I'll get it figured out. And yeah, that's just not the case anymore. We're just not raised.
Yeah.
Also, why didn't they force us to be like, let's get the screwdriver, let's look at it together, let's figure it out. Like, come on,
The
girls, like
same
let's
reason they
go.
didn't teach us taxes in school. That would have been really helpful,
The
especially as a
anxiety.
small
Oh my
business
God.
owner.
Yeah. Oh, girl. Something about taxes is a different animal. And I literally said this in a workshop that I hosted earlier this year. I was like, well, I don't know how to do taxes. I guess I should throw my whole dream of entrepreneurship out the window because I'll never be able to figure that out. So let me just go back to a job that is soul sucking, right? Like the fear
Yes.
holds us back from so much. But you and I both know that we could make a phone call to a local tax person, because not all accountants are tax. I don't, whatever. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Someone is probably like cringing listening to this, but like we know we can make a phone call and somebody could just be like, oh, yeah. Do this and this. I got you. Don't worry about it. Right.
Yep.
But we get caught up in our own shit of like, oh, that seems hard. I'm going to stay over here
Yeah.
where it feels safe, quote, safe. Yeah. I don't
Oh,
know.
I do think that just brought something up for me. I have always been the type of person that would never ask for help.
Yeah.
I would never ask for help. And then I became a mom, and I was so stubborn that I was like, I'm not going to ask for help. I won't even ask my husband for help. I've struggled to even ask him to like help me do the dishes. But then I get resentful and pissy with him because he doesn't do the dishes. But how does
Yeah.
he know if I don't ask him?
Yeah.
So that's one thing I think that as mothers, we need to be better about asking for help.
Ooh.
Find your village, help your village, be there and force them, like come over to their house and don't give them an option. Just start cleaning up.
Yeah.
On my street, there's just a ton of like military families, and a lot of them were deployed at the same time, or like some were coming back as others were leaving. And, all the moms just got super, super close. And I know that it's not like this for everyone. I had to really seek that out and put myself out of my comfort zone. And I think that's another thing as a mom, like, don't be afraid to just start a conversation with somebody and say, hey, like, I don't know anyone here, like, do you want to have a play date and like meet up and see if you have a connection? Because that's how this all started. I saw a little girl riding her bike outside and was like, hey, she looks like she's the same age as my daughter, you want to have
Yeah.
them play, like, I feel like it's easier to meet friends as an adult than like once you have kids than it was like in my
Yeah.
early 30s.
Yeah, I agree.
But a friend in this group, she had just had a baby, and I didn't even realize what I had done at the time, but she just was so grateful. Like I went over, she was making dinner, and I just started like cleaning up her house. It was like I just did it. I didn't ask if it was okay. I just did it. And she said, "You know what? That's like the most helpful thing that anyone's ever done. You didn't ask to hold the baby. You just came over and started helping me." And I think like we should be more conscious to do that for people. We always ask the question like, how can I help? But for those of us who are not going to ask for help, we're just going to tell you we're okay.
Right.
And like, I think
Yeah.
we should not accept we're okay as an answer. Like, no, what can I do? Like, let me come over. What can I do? Can I
Yeah.
cook you dinner? Do you want to come
Yeah.
over, and do you want to send your kid over so you can like watch a movie by yourself without being touched or asked mommy 1,000 times? I've learned to be very conscious of that, because when Justin was deployed, they were my family, you know,
Yeah. I think
especially being military. I
yeah.
mean, your family is far away. So,
Right, right. I think it's so important regardless of what your situation, especially in yours. But I think what you said is important for everybody. And I think a lot of the times we think, oh, we've gotten through the newborn stage, like we should be okay now because people want to help when there's a new baby, and it's like I was hesitant to let people in because I felt like I had to clean my house. I felt like I had to
yeah,
put a bra and makeup on, and I was like, I don't want to do that.
yeah,
I'd rather sit here. And I suffered greatly. I
yes,
suffered alone because I didn't ask for help, because I didn't know what to ask for. I had a guest on last year. Her name is Sarah Schaefer, and she was like, I keep a list in my phone of like things that I would be okay requesting help for, so that when somebody asks, I'm like, yeah, actually, I do need help with this thing right here, if you wouldn't mind helping. Because if somebody offers to help you, they do want to help you. They're not
yes, and
saying
it
it
makes
just
people feel
because.
good to help.
It does.
Like
Yeah.
it's such an exchange of energy. Like,
100%.
you know, you need that. You desperately need it. And I think we live in a world where all we see is beautiful homes on social media,
Yeah.
and we forget what real life is like.
Right.
I don't want to be the house that is so clean that it feels so sterile that no one lives there. Like, I want kids to feel comfortable coming to my house and know that there's toys on the floor that they can play with,
Yeah.
And a friend of mine really like reframed that for me, because I was always like, I'm embarrassed to have people over. I'm embarrassed like for people to see my mess. And she was like, you know what? If they're gonna judge you by your mess because you're a mom and your husband's deployed, like, they're not your people.
Right.
And I've like lived by that ever
Yeah.
since,
It's
you
so
know?
good. Yeah, like, oh my God, it looks like somebody lives in your house and one of them is a child. Oh no, like
Right?
heaven forbid.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like that is the most simple thing, but you just don't even think about it?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's subconscious the way it creeps in too. Because if someone's like, hey, let me run over, I'm like, oh God. I'm like looking around at the piles and like, what do I need to move? I'm
Right?
like, I have to stop myself and be like, okay, I have a stack of mail and kids' worksheets from school on the counter. This is what my life looks like. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gross and dirty. It's just stuff. Like, it's fine. Yeah. And the way then we assign our own value and self-worth on the clutter in our home, or like the fact that
Mhm.
there's graham cracker crumbs on the table, like, shut up. Why are we doing this to ourselves? It's crazy. Oh,
I think we all do it, and I think social media is probably making it worse.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And the fact that it is so accessible, it's there 24 hours a day. It seeps in, even if you're like, no, 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 I'm good. Those thoughts still will pop up that you have to check.
I know you're like really big on affirmations, so this is an affirmation that I've been like telling myself, and like I tell my friends sometimes when they're like having a hard day, like how lucky are our kids that they live in a home where they can be themselves and they can be creative and have open play. They might make a mess, but like how lucky are we to be able to give them that childhood? And
Mm,
that always like reframes it for me.
yeah, that's really good. Especially, I know you said you sensory overload. I do too. So when they do make a huge mess, I'm like, I know this is good for
Yeah.
them, but oh my God, there's crap
Yeah.
everywhere. Yeah, you're so right though. That's so good. Can you tell the audience what kind of the general aesthetic your artwork is so they know what to expect when they find you and follow you?
Yeah, I do a lot of coastal inspired work. I'm working on an oyster series. If there's any foodie people out there, I love my oysters. I do a lot of birds lately. All of my work is very serene and lots of blues, lots of very calming colors. Like I said earlier, I paint for peace, regardless if you live at the coast or not. Like my art is very contemporary. It's very picturesque. It's not, it's painterly. I try to capture a moment of a lot of us go to the beach for like family vacations, and I started realizing like what I wanted to paint were my favorite memories with Savannah, and a lot of those have been around the coast. We get oysters a lot when we go out because we live by the coast, and that's like one of Justin and I's favorite things. So there's like all these things that are inspiring it, but I think like what people could really connect with is those favorite places and moments that you've had with like the people you love. Like that's what I try to capture.
And I just want to say, staring at the piece behind you, that looks like
Oh,
a big mama jamma. I can't tell how
it
big it
is. It's
is.
about as big as me.
It's big, but it feels like an exhale. It feels like you
Yes.
get to your favorite place and you're like, oh, it's beautiful. So yeah,
Thank
I
you.
mean, I know what your stuff looks like and I love it so much. And also a water girly, so it like really resonates because the water does that for me. But yeah, so
Yeah.
please tell everyone where they can find you and follow you.
Yeah. So Instagram, I'm on Instagram and TikTok, and Pinterest also, I think, as SP Jones Studio. There's two S's in there. And then my website is also spjonesstudio.com.
Magical stuff. I'm so excited for you. I'm so
Thank
excited to
you.
watch and see where this goes. And I know you're just going to do amazing things. And I am so glad we reconnected in this way
Yes.
because this
I'm
was so
so glad to be a
magical.
part of your podcast, honestly. I've been watching you since you started this, and I just remember thinking when you first started the podcast that I was like just so proud of you. I'm like, "Yes, she finally like did it." And I know like from a perspective of putting something that's so close to your heart out there, it's hard. It's hard because you don't know if other people are going to connect with it, but I am I'm like just so excited to be a part of your podcast because I followed you from your very first one.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so that means a
You
lot. Thank you.
probably
That warms
didn't even
my
know
heart.
because I probably
I
never said
didn't
that.
know. I didn't know. So thank you. I know it's so interesting and it means a lot. Thank you for saying that. And I came to the place where I was just like, it means a lot to me. I'm going to put it out there. Who it's meant to find, it'll find. If they listen once and it means a lot, but they never listen again, but that was powerful for them, amazing. And if they don't like it, they don't have to come back. That's fine. And
Yeah.
that's how I'm just like, I'm here. This is what it is. And I think more women need to take up space through whatever medium, but in the same way of like, here I am, I'm unapologetic about it, and I'm just gonna do it. And if you like it, great.
Yeah.
And if you don't,
I think it's going to inspire a lot more people than you realize.
I hope so. I hope so. And your your work does as well. I'm so excited for you.
Oh, thank
Stephanie, thank you so much for being here. We'll have everything in the show notes. So please go give her a follow. Her reels are really nice to watch. They're very, very serene. I know why artist reels pop off on Instagram because it's like, oh, that is so refreshing to look at compared to all of the other noise.
you. Yeah.
So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie.
That's a wrap on another episode of the Having a Mom Moment podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and for sharing this space with us today. Before you go, don't forget to check out the show notes for any links or resources mentioned in today's episode. And hey, while you're at it, why not give me a follow on Instagram and Facebook at Having a Mom Moment. You can also visit havingamaMoment.com for even more mom-inspired resources. If you've enjoyed today's conversation as much as I have, please be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on future episodes. And it would mean so much if you leave us a glowing 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time, remember to embrace those mom moments, find alignment in your journey, and always honor the incredible woman you are. Take care, friends, and we'll see you on the next episode.